Hello and welcome to Finding a Fourth. Today we're doing another deck tech. Today I'll be going over one of my signature decks, Belakor, the Dark Master. We are indeed back from the Purple Realm. Starting off with a little brief history, Demon of Loathing was actually one of the first cards I ever cracked when I started Magic the Gathering back in Theros Beyond Death. It's been about 5 years since then. I would jam it into all of my decks at the time. I only had like one or two that could play black and play it in, and I would always joke this is my boss monster. Unfortunately, back then demons didn't get as much love and support as they did now, so Demon Loathing kind of didn't have a home for a while. Once Belakor was revealed, though, I knew it was something I had to play. What is the Belakor experience? It'd probably be good if I started off by reading what Belakor does, our commander. Belakor, the Dark Master. 3 mana in a Grixis, Demon Noble Flying, Prince of Chaos. When Belakor, the Dark Master, enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of demons you control. And then Lord of Torment. Whenever another demon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Moving on to some pros and cons. Pros, Belakor is a card advantage engine in the command zone and a payoff. It's combining draw and Warstorm Surge effect or Terror of the Peaks, which we know really good for closing out games. Demons also come on large bodies and have high impact effects on the battlefield, as we'll get into later. Direct damage is very difficult to deal with or avoid. You need things that give you hexproof, or things that like stifle effects, which are few and far between commander. And then we're also doing a little bit of a clone sub theme, so we can really benefit from all the other demons we have and the strong synergies that they share together. Some negatives. Demons are high mana value. A lot of our demons are anywhere between 5 to 8 mana, and that makes it difficult to chain them together. The play pattern is pretty telegraphed as well. People know that we either want to flood the board early with demons or play them after with our commander out. It's a delicate dance that we go through between wanting to commit early versus committing when we have our commander out, and that opens up a window for our enemies to kind of break through. On that note, Belakor must be answered when on the battlefield. He is a removal target. Expect people to try to kill him. As I said before, he just provides a lot of value, and people don't want to see him out. Moving on to ramp. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the mana rocks. You're going to be playing all your traditional ones, such as like Talisman, Soul Ring, Mind Stone, blah, blah, blah. We are not in green, so we do rely on these rocks. But cost reducers are actually the most, I think, important part of keeping an opening hand. You have effects like Herald's Nest, demon spells cost 2 less. Heartless Summoning, creature spells you cast cost 2 less. Dream Devourer lets you foretell demons, put them away for later, protects them from wheels, which we are playing, I'll reveal as we speak later. Urza's Incubator also reduces by 2. If you ever get 2 of these effects out, you could get your top end demons for 3 mana, and it kind of helps you get into like a chain of playing multiple demons and going from like 0 to nothing within the same turn. Moving on to draw. I won't be naming any of the demon draw spells here. These are kind of our more generic in-slot draw effects that we have. As I mentioned, greatness any cost. We are playing black. We are exchanging our life total for cards drawn. Specifically, Prince of Chaos. When he enters, we'll draw and lose life. Stinging Study, one of my favorite cards for any commander that's more than 5 mana in value. It's 5 mana. You draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the mana value of a commander you own on the battlefield or the command zone. So Belakor becomes a 5 mana, draw 6, lose 6, which you can keep up mana for interaction and then refill your hand. We are also playing 3 wheels: Windfall, Whispering Madness, and Imposing Grandeur. I have highlighted here Whispering Madness, 4 mana. Each player discards his or her hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards discarded this way, which is overcosted for its effect, but the main kicker is Cipher, where you get to put it onto a creature, and when that creature does combat damage to a player, you get to cast a spell again. Notably, a lot of demons, if not all of them, fly. So when they connect, you can really get an opportunity to fill your graveyard. We are playing some recursion as well, so then we can get our demons out for even cheaper and just keep our options moving. Wheels are kind of one-sided because we want to pretty much empty our hand, either through cost reducers or other setup engine pieces. And then, then we try to deploy our demons. Yep. Speaking of demons, demons. We are playing 23 non-clone demons in the deck. I have separated these into several categories. We have demons that draw, demons that are removal, and demons that are game enders. Let's go through each category. Demons that draw. Here I kind of have listed four of the different kinds of draws we have. Kind of playing into the greatest any cost, the speed demon. You lose life, you draw cards and lose life equal to your speed, right? So that can easily become 2 or 3 extra draws on your end step. Villas, every time you lose life, you're trading that in for cards. I've had games where I've actually intentionally targeted myself with Belakor's damage trigger just to get, the draw 6 or draw whatever amount. And then Lord of Change, kind of your generic, flying ward 3, 6/6 body. You draw 3 cards when it enters. Pretty good, when you draw 3 and do 6 damage, like what more can you really ask for? Last but not least, we have Rakdos, Patron of Chaos, Flying Trample. Beginning your end step, target opponent may sacrifice 2 non-land, non-token permanents. If they do, you draw 2 cards. You always want to choose the player that can't really make that sacrifice, right? So essentially just becomes draw 2 every of your end steps and, deal 6 to the face and then, 6 later on as well. Moving on to demonic interaction. Of course, I could have an entire podcast section or deck tech just based off Demon of Loathing, as I mentioned earlier. It's a flying trample. Whenever it does combat damage to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. It's kind of, pretty strong card. It's essentially Flashback Marauder, but for one person, but they also take 7 damage in the air, and 7 when the Belakor enter the battlefield trigger, so... If I could, I'd be running like 5 of them. Other cards, though, not as great, but are demons, so, I had to put them in the deck. Reaper of the Abyss, 3 mana, and then 3 black. Flying, Morbid. At the beginning of each end step, that's an important thing to highlight. If a creature died this turn, destroy target non-demon creature. It's very cool. You can pretty much trigger it every end step if things are like dying. You're guaranteed to almost do it on your end step. Non-demon is important too, so people can't deflecting swat it back onto you, or harness lightning, or bolt bend, or any of the 15 effects we have now. Reaper from the Abyss actually synergizes really well with Archfiend of Depravity. Flying, at the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creatures he or she controls and sacrifices the rest. With that, we can kind of guarantee they can only keep 1 creature a turn, or even less. And then obviously we have our, if you've played with me before, Kagemaru, First to Suffer. It's an XX. Its power and toughness are equal to the cards in your hand. Then you can pay black, sacrifice Kagemaru. All creatures get -X/-X1 of turn, where X is the number of cards in my hand. So it's kind of like a board wipe, burn, and a body as well. And obviously, First to Suffer, really metal name. So, it's a win for me on all boats. All right, moving on. These are the demons that end the game. Aptly titled Now for the Finisher. We have Archfiend of Despair, Bloodletter of Alcazatz, and Sword of Discord. I won't go into too much detail here, as I will be explaining them later on. Sire of Insanity, one of my favorite cards. Do not play this if your playgroup enjoys having fun or whatever. But, fun is subjective. I have a lot of fun when I play Sire of Insanity. The beginning of each end step, each player discards his or her hand. It may seem like a nonsense effect, which it kind of is, but once we have a big board of creatures that can attack, we don't want people having cards in hand, right? That can lead to board wipes, can lead to answers. We're pretty much fine playing 1 spell turn. It can kind of help us lock out the game for the finishing move. As I mentioned before, we are playing a little bit of a clone subtheme, double or nothing. Clones are flexible as they can double up draw or interaction or game changers. Here are some effects I'm playing. I won't read them all, but Rite of Replication, Molten Echoes, Calamity, Auton Soldier. These are all very strong effects that we can use to double up on Belakor triggers, Archfiend, things like that. As we kind of get into our game-ending combos, I'll read more into that. Moving on to our first combo, we have Belakor with a kicked Rite of Replication. There are a lot of steps, as I mentioned here. Essentially, this results in near infinite damage, near infinite draw, and near infinite life gain. You're making 5 copies of Belakor that will all see each other, and they will do Belakor's enter the battlefield effect. It's important that we stack it so that the damage resolves before the draw. Otherwise, we will potentially lose all our life and lose the game, depending on our board state, when we can just direct all those 6 damage triggers towards our opponents. This is kind of like the bread and butter combo. Everyone when people see Belakor, they go, "Oh, do you have Rite Replication?" It's because the synergy is just so strong. All right, moving on to the second line. I call this Calamity of Alcazats. This is kind of like a cool synergy that I saw or stumbled across when Calamity was first spoiled in Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So we have 4 steps here. We're going to crew Calamity. So Calamity is a 4 and 2 red horse mount, a 4/6 haste. Whenever Calamity Galloping Inferno attacks while saddled, choose a non-legendary creature that's saddled this turn and create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of it. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step. Repeat this process once and saddle the one. What's important about this is that Calamity will actually make 2 copies of whatever saddled it, and notably Bloodletter is a non-legendary. Bloodletter specifically says when an opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. So before combat, this is important. Saddle is sorcery speed. We want to crew Calamity with the Bloodletter. So we attack with Calamity, and we create 2 taps and attacking Bloodletters of Alcazats. This will result in 2 triggers of 2 damage from Belakor, as you will see the 2 demons entering. Which is really cool here is that we have 3 Bloodletters out, which means we'll have the replacement effect 3 times, so that people will lose twice as much life. So this will become 16 damage from each trigger. And then when the Bloodletters connect, I'm assuming they'll connect just because they're flying, harder to block, they'll do 16 damage as well. So right there, you're looking at 32 damage per Bloodletter. Here's a little bonus for you. Belakor will commander damage someone. If not, alright, kill them with 64 total damage, as his damage is also multiplied. This will also result in 8 times damage for any other demon on our battlefield as well, which will let you close the game out really quickly when you have 8 times damage, trust me. Here's a little bit more of a general tech we have, Share Our Pain. We have the 2 cards I mentioned earlier, Archfiend of Despair. Your opponents can't gain life. Beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. And Sword of Discord links 2 players. When damage is dealt to the chosen player, the other player loses that much life. So combine that with our various clone effects, such as Molten Echoes. It'll share and spread the damage. And then it's really easy to close out the game if everyone is linked, right? So 2 Sword of Discords enter. Belakor will see them and it'll do 6 damage, and that'll be spread out. You can really focus down one player and then kill the rest of them. I've had many turns where I've just linked everyone and then just one-shot the table. As I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't necessarily say it's out of nowhere because it's all on board and you all have to have the pieces revealed. But if the table lets their guard down, or people trying to rebuild after board wipe, we can really get them. Then here's some closing thoughts. Belakor is a commander that can quickly close out games by leveraging both big bodies and direct damage. Demons are cool, probably one of the best tribes in Magic, And then don't be afraid to tear down your opponents, When you're playing aggro, it's really easy to kind of want to spread out the damage, spread the love and whatnot. But if you don't have one of the linking effects, you're just setting yourself up for failure, setting yourself up for answers, and kind of have to harden your heart a little bit, and blast them. Anyways, I started blasting, right? Well, I'd like to thank you all for watching this deck tech. I'm excited to play this. Thank you all for watching this deck tech. I really appreciate the time we spent together. It's awesome to have shared one of my favorite personal decks, and I'm excited to play it on the channel soon. Hopefully, I get to show off some of the cool tech and go through some of the lines I demonstrated here. Please like and subscribe, as that is a big help to the channel. And I'm hoping, we hit our 100 subscriber milestone. We're so close. And again, thank you all so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.